There you go.
Are we live? Hey, folks. Just finishing up washing my hands here. Trying to conserve water. We're washing our hands so often. So I'm just going to finish up here. I hope everybody's well. For those who don't know us, I'm Robbie, and this is Dennis. He's behind the camera. Dennis, wave. You got to wave in front of the camera.
No, it's not showing. Is yours moving?
Maybe we're having some technical difficulties. We'll find out. Nope. Oh, yeah. There it is. To expand. Let's see if we can hear. Yep. So I'm going to shut my computer off here. It looks like I'm going to shut my volume off here so we don't get feedback. So Dennis and I moved to Spain from LA about almost 2 years ago now. And we've been making candies and chocolates. This started out with Dennis's mother's caramel recipe, and people were always saying, you should be selling these. We moved here, and we thought, oh, what the hell, we'll give it a try. That was in December, and now we're in COVID-19 mode, along with everybody else. And wanted to sort of make a little distraction for folks, show you how we make some of our candies. Our candies right now aren't for sale because of everything that's going on. We're doing this little demonstration out of our home kitchen. We have 2 dogs, Winnie and Zess. They're roaming around. And while we are healthy, you never know if you became infected, and since this chocolates are not heated up to a temperature that would kill the virus, it's not out for general consumption. So, with that, I think I can see comments. I don't know if our video is pausing.
No, it's just a couple seconds.
I gave myself a love. It looks like we have 15 viewers online. Hi, everybody. Feel free to make comments, send some love. We'll answer questions as time goes on, and when we have some downtime and tempering some chocolate and stuff. So I wanted to do a little demonstration on peanut butter cups. Peanut butter cups are really easy to make for the home baker. So I thought it would be an easy demonstration to do for our first one. We're going to start with the cups. You can use anything that you want. These are regular paper cupcake cups. We put them in a little tin here so that they sort of hold their shape. These are going to be kind of big peanut butter cups. There's then the smaller ones that you can get at the stores as well for cupcake bites. And you can even use, if you wanted to, just an empty tin like this. Although this requires a little more precision on your part. So if this is the first time you're doing it, I would not recommend putting them right into the tin because you really need to make sure your chocolate is tempered. Our dogs are making little grumbly noises. So again, I would not recommend this if this is your first time working with chocolate. So as you know, a peanut butter cup is pretty simple. It's chocolate and peanut butter. There's not a lot of ingredients. For today, we're gonna use a medium dark chocolate. It's a 52%. We buy our chocolate, or we did and we will it once again once everything is back up and running. We buy our chocolate in 10-pound bags. You're not probably going to do that, so you can just go to your store. We got these in Sitges, and get whatever chocolate that you like. Milk chocolate. I think milk chocolate is a little sweet for peanut butter cups, but you might like it. And just get, these I think were €1 at Mercadona here. Get your chocolate, probably 2 of these. One of these is going to be enough to do what we're going to do. And we'll go from there. And then for our peanut butter, you can make your own peanut butter. We have our friends Mark and Mitchell. Hi, Mark and Mitchell, if you're listening, who make their own peanut butter. They use non-roasted peanuts. You can make it with non-roasted peanuts. You can make it with roasted peanuts, salted, unsalted. If you want to control the salt in your peanut butter, then you should, if you're going to make it yourself, buy unsalted peanuts and ground them up. This peanut butter here is just 100% peanuts. There's no salt added, so we're going to add a little salt as we're making the sauce. And then we use confectioner's sugar. In the US, this is called confectioner's sugar. It's 10x sugar. It's powdered sugar. Here, it's icing sugar, and it's just... So the reason why we use this is because a granulated sugar wouldn't dissolve enough in your peanut butter, and you don't want to get a grainy sugar texture in it. Also, powdered sugar has cornstarch in it, so that helps as a sort of a stabilizer. If you're making whipped cream, if you're making whipped egg whites, it's always best to use a powdered sugar as opposed to a granulated sugar. It will dissolve 100%, and again, it has a cornstarch, so it keeps it simple. So we don't have to do anything to the peanut butter cups to get them ready. Just take them out of the package. We're going to try to do 2 of them here, or two different sizes. We'll see how far we get. And then we're going to temper our chocolate. Don't be afraid by that. It's fairly easy, and for something like this, isn't something that you need to worry about. If you're doing without a cup inside of a mold, then you need to be a little precise. I actually like using the microwave for this. So we're just gonna, we took a candy bar, I took about half of it, put it into a glass bowl, make sure it's microwave safe, pop it in the microwave, and we're gonna go for 30 seconds for the first time, and then we're gonna mix it, and then we're gonna pop it in the microwave again, and then we're gonna mix it, and depending on how far we get, or how melted the chocolate is in there, if we need to do it again for 30 seconds or less. And once we get this first round of chocolate tempered, we're just going to put this in the bottom of the cups, and that will be our base. I don't know where I see questions. Somebody ask me a question, or say something.
Click on the little eye.
The reason. Click on what?
The eyeball thing that tells you how many people are there.
Granulated sugar wouldn't dissolve enough in your peanut butter, and you don't want to get grainy sugar texture in it. Okay, so we got 30 seconds, the first round. Maybe Dennis, and
try it again.
As you can see, it didn't really melt, but the glass is starting to get warm. So we're going to pop it in the microwave again for another 30 seconds, and let it go.
Click on the eyeball.
Click on the eye. Oh. And it just says it has 15 people.
Oh. If I click on it, it opens the other window.
Live video interrupted.
So we don't have to do any.
So Christine's on. Carol Lawrence is on.
Oh, I see a love.
Mm-hmm.
To the peanut butter cups to get them ready. Just take them out of the package. We're going to try to do 2 of them here.
All right, so we just let it go for another 30 seconds.
or two different sizes. We'll see how far we get.
And
And then we're gonna temper our
still
chocolate. Don't be afraid by that. It's
not even started. So we're going to pop it back in the microwave again for another 30 seconds. Oh, Rosanna. Hi, Rosanna. Oh, and Mark and Mitchell. Hey, guys. I guess I got this. And Greg. Hi, Greg. All right. I'm a little sweaty. I've never done this before. I'm a little nervous, so let me apologize now. As you can see, that last 30 seconds really did melt the chocolate. So we don't want to burn the chocolate. So we're gonna let this melt. We're gonna stir it for a little while. We don't want to overheat it. We don't want to burn it because there's nothing worse than burnt chocolate. A little earlier, I talked about tempering chocolate, and this is sort of what we're doing here. So again, don't be afraid by what that means. I was afraid when I first started working with chocolate. What it means is that when you buy a candy bar at the store, when you buy, one of these or even a Hershey's bar, I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for saying brand names. That chocolate that you're getting there is tempered. So when you bite into it, it has a nice snap. If you're buying a chocolate like one of these, it has a nice shiny gloss to it and a coating. Dennis, did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're buying one of these, so all of these chocolates have been tempered. When you heat up chocolate like this, there's actually a little big glumps in there, so we're going to give this, I'm putting this down on a parchment paper, and I'll tell you why later. We're going to give this about 10 more seconds. When you heat up chocolate, you bring it out of temper, and that just means you've melted it so far down that the cocoa butter crystals are sort of all gone. When your cocoa butter crystals start to cool down, there's a couple different crystals that it can form. There you go. Now that is all melted. It's nice and warm. We're going to stir it around for a little bit. And the kind of crystals that we're looking for they're called beta crystals. And that just means that it will be glossy, it will have a nice snap to it, basically. If you've ever bought a candy bar that looked cloudy, I don't know if Dennis, you can get this. So
Kind of shaky.
this is a candy bar, chocolate bar that we made that actually was tempered but was left out in the sun, and it melted. And it heated it up enough so that it melted all those crystals. And when it reformed, the cocoa butter, which is what this white coating is, comes to the surface of the chocolate. There's nothing wrong with it. You can eat it. And actually, you can remelt it down and get it back into temper. So it's just unattractive. And you don't really want that in your chocolate. Okay, so now that we've got this chocolate here, we're going to add what we call seed chocolate. This is chocolate that is tempered. This is now untempered. We're going to add a little bit in here and melt it. And this is going to train or teach the cocoa butter that's in there to now start forming the kind of crystals that we want, which are beta crystals. There is all kinds of videos on how to temper chocolate, what to look for, the right temperatures depending on the kind of chocolate that you're using and even the brand of chocolate that you're using. Again, for this here, we just want to get it to a point where if we add the seed chocolate, it's almost to the point where it gets a little thick and the seed chocolate has sort of stopped melting. Oops.
Mm.
Uh-oh.
You're fine.
Oh, hello from Switzerland. Hello, Christine. Hi, Maria. North Carolina's on the line. Hello, North Carolina. Oh, we got North Carolina again. We got two different people from North Carolina. I don't know if you guys know each other. Your volume is kind of low. Sorry about that, Mark. Madison, Wisconsin is here. I will try to talk a little louder. All right, so, or maybe Dennis could move closer. I don't know if it's our mic. So we've added the beta crystals here. It's thickened up. And just about all of the seed chocolate has disappeared. And it's looking a little glossy. To me, it looks like we're close to a tempered chocolate. The way to check that is you just take a knife, you dip it in, and you let it sit for a minute or two. And if it hardens up right away and gets all satiny, you've tempered your chocolate and you're good to go. If for some reason it doesn't, that just means that your chocolate hasn't tempered. You would put it back in the microwave and then heat it up a little bit and then add more seed chocolate to it. Now you may be asking, what if oh, who am I? Chocolate lover. Hi, Cherie. Sorry, you come through as a Sweet Sitges admin, so I was a little confused. Hi, Greg. So we're going to check to see if this is a temper. What if I made too much chocolate? I don't want to waste it. There's lots of different things you can do. You can make chocolate-covered peanuts, chocolate-covered pretzels, chocolate-covered chips with any of your extra. At the end, what you do is you just throw some peanuts into it, mix it around, throw it onto a piece of parchment paper, and let it harden and break it up. You can also reuse it. Chocolate is very versatile. You can keep reusing it. You would, when we're done, I'm going to throw it on this parchment paper, not wax paper. Make sure you have parchment paper. We're going to throw it down on the parchment paper. We're going to let it harden up. And we'll reuse it the next time we make these. Another minute, we'll see where we are with this. This probably takes the longest. Oh, I guess it's a few minutes behind.
Yep.
All right, so I got a little confused because I'm seeing the video here, and it looks like we're a little bit delayed because I'm like, well, I talked about that a minute or so ago. And it looks like the camera does add 10 pounds to you. Jeez! While we're waiting to see if this is tempered, you just want to keep on sort of stirring your chocolate around because you don't want what's in here to set up. Chocolate is very messy. It gets everywhere. It's just, you know, you'll have to lick your fingers afterwards. Just make sure you're not contaminating anything. Cannot sell it now. I know, downtime, dead air, yikes, my caramba. All right. It's going to be hard for you guys to see. You probably won't be able to see it, but it's starting to get a little satiny and dull, so that means that we've tempered our chocolate. It's just starting. You might yourself, if you're doing it yourself, you might want to wait another minute or two just to make sure. But in the essence of time, we're going to move forward. So again, this is just for the bottoms of the cups. You don't need a lot of chocolate. Just think of, Hershey's peanut butter cup. There's not a lot. So we're just going to put like a teaspoon or so, maybe a little more than that, in the bottom of the cups. And then we'll do a couple of these little ones, even less. And then give them a tap so that they spread out onto the bottom of the cup and they cover the whole surface. Then we're going to do the same with these. So you just want it so that it's covered the entire bottom of the cup. Dennis, can you see that? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then, while these are setting up, we're going to make our peanut butter. Nope. Again, I am using a store-bought peanut butter that we get right here in town. There is no salt in it. And then we're going to use confectioner's sugar. You don't need a lot of peanut butter. We're going to use about a quarter cup of peanut butter for this. I'll measure it out. It'll be nice for you guys. I am, I don't want to say, I am a cook that doesn't like going by the rules all the time. I like to experiment. I always don't follow recipes directly. I typically don't measure anything, but I was told I have to when I'm doing stuff like this. All right, so we got a quarter cup of peanut butter. We're going to do really a pinch of salt. Normally I would pinch it, but I'm not going to use my hands. Give that a little stir so that the salt starts to mix in there. And then we're going to do a quarter cup of confectionery sugar. So this is sweetening the peanut butter, and it's also firming it up so that we can work with it. And we're just going to mix that around. And we want to get this to like a Play-Doh consistency. And once it's, so you just want to work your sugar in. We're going to add a little bit more. You might want, you know, if you're doing this yourself and you're not careful, you might want to not do what I'm doing and do it over the measuring cup, because you know you don't want to dump all of your powdered sugar into this, because then you'll just have to start again. Like I said, I'm not a, you know, I'm not a by the book cook. Okay. So this is getting there. I'm going to use my hands. I don't have gloves on. Nobody's eating this, so it's okay. You just want to work this around a little bit. Throw on want some more powdered sugar. Pretend you're making like a dough, you know, and the powdered sugar is your flour. So you just want to work it in there. So it's not as sticky anymore. You can try it. You can try it if you want it more sweet. If you're using a really dark chocolate and you want a really sweet center, you might want to add more powdered sugar to it. All right, so that's about right. Then you're going to flatten it out. And then we're going to cut them out, little things for our cups. All right, I'm going to give my hands a wash. This is just going to be a quick wash. It is not a coronavirus 20-second wash. So for our bigger cups, and that's starting to set up, so it looks good. For our bigger cups, we have a shot glass, which is just the right size. So you want it so that it's just to the edges, but not to the edges, because you don't want your peanut butter. Because once we put our second thing of chocolate, you don't want the peanut butter around the edges, because then it'll just ooze out. So we just take this, we give a little cut, and we just plop it right in the bottom there. Dennis, can you get that? And we'll do 3 of them. And then for our smaller peanut butter cups, now if your chocolate hasn't fully set up yet, you can put them in the fridge and let them set up a little more before you put your peanut butter in. And then for our smaller peanut butter cups, you can just do it by hand. You just take a little bit of peanut butter, form it out, make a little disc, plop it right in. Sing, Mr. Broadway. Oh, you know, many of you who know me are probably wondering why I haven't broken into song yet. And I promised myself that I would try not to, but so we'll see how the rest of the show goes. Well, you can save this peanut butter for later. You can make more of it. We're not making enough right now, so we'll just end up probably discarding it. Now, our chocolate, because we went kind of quick, is still liquidy. If your tempered chocolate had started to set up, the glass actually keeps it warm as well. If your liquid chocolate had started to set up and get hard, you can see it's starting to get hard on the sides, on the edges here, but stuff in the center is still good. You would just pop it back into the microwave for another like 10, 20 seconds, depending on the power of your microwave. You just want to melt it down so that everything melts again. And then you would add a little more of your seed chocolate. And then all you do is you're just going to spoon this right over your peanut butter. And you want enough so that it goes down the sides. And then the same for your little ones. And then just give them a tap. They're going to even out. Dennis, if you can get that. They're going to even out. Same with your little ones. And then you're just going to put them aside and wait. That's the hardest part, I know. You really do want to wait until they've hardened up, which again is probably the hardest part. So we have some leftover chocolate here that I what if you make too much chocolate, it's okay. You can throw some peanuts in here, you can throw some almonds or cashews, stir it all up, put it down onto the piece of parchment paper. Again, not wax paper. It's really difficult to find wax paper here in Spain. And they sell this great parchment paper. It just comes in these pre-cut sheets. So, but for folks in the US, don't get confused with parchment paper and wax paper. And you can also reuse this chocolate, so it won't go to waste. And all you're going to do is scrape it out of the bowl, and then take an offset spatula or a spatula, and you're just going to layer it out so that it sets up pretty quickly. And then you would just take the paper off, crumple it up, put it into a bag, and then you can reuse it the next time. When everything is said and done, here we go. I made these the other day, as they say, through the magic of television. Poof! These are actually milk chocolate ones that I did, so they're a milk chocolate peanut butter cup. These are the big ones. I didn't do any of the small ones. And you just unwrap it. It has a nice little design from the paper. And then you can eat. Cut one in half for you guys. This is a really big knife. And there you go. You have a great peanut butter cup, milk chocolate, dark chocolate, whatever you want. Easy to make and satisfying during this coronavirus isolation that we are all in. So I think that's it. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. Oh, wait, I guess we're supposed to try one. Mmm, so yummy. If anybody has any questions,